over the last several years, Gary Vee and many others have made becoming an entrepreneur sexy. I've seen many people go after it. The last few years, let's be clear, pretty easy. It was easy to get going. Money was everywhere. Risk was nothing. So a lot of people jumped in. We are undoubtedly heading for a recession. You could argue when it may or may not start. But I thought we'd talk to a good buddy of mine who is an entrepreneur and see what he's doing as he gets ready. Maybe he's getting ready for his first recession. How you doing, Mr. Stratton Brown? How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So you and I have had this conversation before. I consider myself employee. I consider you an entrepreneur. Just naturally, we're kind of wired that way. I have been through, obviously, I'm a couple decades older than you. I've been through several recessions. And I'm guessing this might be your first recession as an entrepreneur, as a CEO. So are you thinking about it? Do you not think about it? Have you had to make any hard calls? What's going on?
Oh yeah, this is by far my first actual recession as like a owner operator.
Mm-hmm.
Because then like me and you were talking about it a while ago. Yeah, it'll come. This one's been different because like we've been thinking it's gonna like really like drop out of the face, and then it hasn't like necessarily dropped hard besides at the beginning. And
Right.
I would say that's because like the real estate market just got really clamped. And so we had to pivot one company essentially completely. And you always talked about this, about having to make those hard cuts, and I was too big of a bitch to make the hard cuts.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, I love them too much. We'll figure it out. And then that just forced us to hemorrhage money too much to
Right.
where if we would have made the cuts immediately, we would have been able to, whatever, we can lay you
Yeah.
off and then we can bring you back.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, one of your businesses is heavy real estate, right? You have a
Yeah.
call center for wholesalers and all of that. And let's be clear, I've said it before, I'll say it here again. Real estate went into a depression, right? When interest rates spiked up to 6% the first time last summer, and then became, I mean, we have friends, mutual friends who lost hundreds of thousands of dollars on flips
Yep.
because the market just went cold. So as somebody who is feeding wholesalers, it went from ridiculously easy to tough. I'm guessing that impacted, your revenue stream probably quite a bit.
Yeah. That revenue stream honestly went away, started to cost me money.
Oh my
And then
goodness.
we had clients fall off the face of the earth and owe us like 50 grand. It was crazy. Because like people just started going in their shells. We try and work with them a little bit, and then they just fall off the face of the earth. They don't have to send them a collection, so you're never going to get your money anyways. And so that
Yeah.
was like all these lessons of learning. Like, okay, as soon as this starts to happen, you need to be prepared. You need to start handling client relations differently, right? Because yes, we'll always work with someone, but you can't let someone go out like a month because now you aren't doing them a favor, right?
Yeah.
Like they're doing you a favor, and then they can just decide not to do you the favor anymore, and they don't pay you. And I've had older friends who've had these things happen to them, and like let's say construction or anything else, and like even with Pace, Pace when he had that dude declare bankruptcy for him on 1 million, it's
Mm-hmm.
because Pace just kept letting them like, yeah, whatever, we'll keep letting it run, just throw it on the books, and then eventually the dude just declared BK on $1 million.
Yeah. It's gone. It's gone at that point. Yeah. So it's, one of the things that a lot of people are going to learn lessons, right? Because again, I think for the last couple of years, it's been ridiculously easy to make money in lots of different areas. I think the next couple of years, next 2 to 5 years, it's going to be the good operators, right? Specifically, if we stay focused on real estate, there will still be people killing it in real estate. It's the people that are doing the work, that are focused, they're consistent. Um, it is the good operators. Like there are so many people that got lucky, Stratton, with timing. They copied what was done online. They tried a few things. They made some money, and they have no discipline. They have no standard operating procedures. They don't know what a hard month looks like. I'm
Yep.
sure you're seeing it around the board. I mean, you're out there. You're seeing a lot of folks there. I'm gonna guess there are people that 6 months ago that you thought were killing it that are probably out of business today or soon will be. Is that a reasonable guess?
The wholesale market, I feel like now has finally stabilized, and so like the bloodbath is gone.
Okay.
Now most of them, either they were they're right on the edge, and then they didn't make it, or they were crushing, and then like I posted a video a minute ago, like you think it's always gonna rain money, and so you
Mm.
just keep throwing all of the cash back into it, and then you don't really prepare anything for reserves, and then it's all over, and then they went really, really fast. And then
Yeah.
the new people couldn't, it was harder for the new people to get into it, right? Because wholesaling is the lowest barrier to entry business I think that exists in the world.
Oh, probably. Yeah. Yeah.
And so all those new people were like, yeah, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Then they ran out of money because the market was really stagnant for like I'd say what year is this? 2023? Was it the second half of last year? Yeah, the second
Yeah.
half of
It was
last
kind
year
of
was
like
really stagnant.
August to February ish, kind of that
Yeah, like August to
time frame.
February it was really, really stagnant. So all those people fell out too. Um,
But you know what?
some
Some of the upside.
multifamily people are gonna lose their ass though. I'm still
Oh,
waiting on that.
oh
Like
no,
as
it's
far as like
coming.
an operator standpoint.
Oh, there again. So we'll go to that in a minute. Just to close back on wholesalers and kind of flippers in this market. Uh, if you fast forward a year in that market, there will be people that today are not, that are getting by that'll start killing it again because it's a cycle that cleanses out the bad
Yeah,
operators, the lucky, the non-disciplined. One of the things that I think a lot of operators and owner operators don't understand is the cash flow statement. I mean, how many freaking wholesalers are out there posting checks, which is top line, without
exactly.
talking about all the operational costs behind it? And oh, by the way, here's another strange fact. You could be a profitable business, profitable, and go out of business if your cash flow doesn't line up with expenses.
Oh yeah. And that's another thing that you don't really think about, right? And as like you're starting new as an entrepreneur, like you see all these wholesalers posting checks, but at the same time, wholesaling is not like a consistent thing.
No,
And
it's
all of
not.
you guys who are in real estate, like your deal flow is never consistent. And the wholesaler is the one spending the $30,000 to $60,000 a month to bring in those checks. And then like, yeah,
Yeah.
we do 10 deals a month, but sometimes it's two, other times it's
Yeah.
14, you
Right.
know? And so like you have to be prepared for those storms to come in. And I'd say most businesses are like that, right?
Yeah.
So like these summer months in one of our companies, July has been an absolute bloodbath, and you're in B2B sales, nobody fucking
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nobody works
Yeah.
in July. We lose an entire week for the 4th of July, and then everybody's just kind of getting back into it. And so
Mhm.
it slowed that company down a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go to multifamily syndications and apartments. I have been warning about this for 18 months. One of the things that, if you're on my channel, I'm often early, but dude, the pain is growing. I mean, there are going to be, I mean, there are good operators that are going to lose buildings because we're seeing cap rates explode, right? We were having people buy Class A at 3.5 that will probably retrade at 6 or 6.5. And if you're buying Class B, you really overpaid. We saw Class B get collapsed to 3.5, 4. That's going to go to 8.
Yeah.
And if you have any debt on that stuff, you're going to lose your ass, and all your LPs are going to lose. There's going to be billions of dollars in LP money lost, just poof, gone.
I mean, so it happened in the tech space, right? If you think about it, like any VC fund, most of their funds have been blown up.
Yeah.
And I knew dudes with very, very high valuation companies that are essentially non-existent now.
Yeah.
And then you got the real estate stuff. I mean, the insurance rates did not do anybody any favors. I know a lot of people who won't buy right now because insurance just kills all the deals.
Yeah. No, I've had my insurance, even on my car, my insurance has gone up substantially. Right. So
Yes,
insurance
the
rates are.
insurance rates are through the roof. But I'm with you too. I think most of them are going to get exposed.
Mhm.
And for me, it's mainly like the newer syndicators who are doing shit for fees, like the
Yeah, no,
fee
of course. The
syndicators, because
operators.
that
Yeah.
they are exact. They
Yeah.
don't care about the fundamentals of the deal. They're like, hey, we came in, we made 500K to a million in fees. We're
Yeah.
good. We'll just
Yeah.
keep
And they
it
have they
pushing,
have
and
no
then it'll
skin in the
carry us.
game. No. Yeah, these non-recourse loans, right? The GP is going to skate away free. The LPs are going to lose everything. But I always try to find the silver lining and stuff. I've been warning about this for a while. Let me just tell you, the opportunity on the other side of this is going to be amazing, right? There are apartment
It's
buildings that I bought in the last cycle, um, shit at dirt value. I look forward to having that opportunity again, but everybody wants it now. This multifamily pain is next summer, right? Because the
I thought it was going to
foreclosure
be. I
process.
thought it was going to be now. I thought it was going
Yeah.
to be around here. Like when we were talking last year, I was like, it
Yeah.
should be like right now.
It just doesn't go fast like that. You've got to get the reset, then you have the workout, then you have the foreclosure, and then it's just, yeah, it's another year, but it's I guess it's a tsunami. I can't think of a better thing. It's already out there and it's just picking up steam. And
But at the same time, you need to understand that every investment can go to zero. And I don't think a lot of people really get into business or investing knowing that, like, yes, there is risk involved. It may be a very minimal risk,
mhm,
but there is still an opportunity for you to lose your money on said investment. And whenever I
of
do
course.
anything and any money leaves my bank account, I honestly just burnt that money, is the way I
Yeah.
think of it,
Yeah.
because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So, recessions are scary, losing money is scary. Uh, Again, I think there will be great operators that use this time to skill up, build muscle memory, and become stronger and better. Where are you kind of focused? Because again, you're a natural born entrepreneur. I know you're already looking ahead to be better on the other side of this. What are some things you're doing yourself to become better?
75 hard for sure.
Okay.
Um, I like that because it's really easy not to be disciplined. You've said discipline a lot. The whole reason I like it is because if you're an entrepreneur, it's because you don't like anybody telling you what to do. But at the same time, you need some type of discipline in your life so you can keep that cadence.
Yeah, the
And so
structure.
I'd say
Yeah.
that's one thing. Reading books, and still, you can't stop marketing in anything that you're doing. And I'd say that's another thing that like kind of nipped us in the bud with the call center, was we didn't market as much,
Mm,
right? And so like when you stop marketing for your real estate, raising money, whatever it is, then you automatically lose any momentum that even existed. And you can't do that. Like, you can't stop putting out content, like all these things. You're going to have to cut fat, but no matter what you do, keep marketing, because that's what's going to pay the bills.
yeah, this goes back to kind of the one thing you talked about earlier, and I said it, and I'll say it again. Um, Operators or executives never cut deep enough first. You
100%.
always you always tell yourself a story, and you're willing to sacrifice your situation to keep to just to do that. And when the storms come, it's the house that gets battened down the most that survives. And
Yeah,
you could always rebuild. But if you
exactly.
if you don't batten it down and you roll the dice, yeah, maybe the hurricane misses you, but if it comes through, you're out. You're done. And
Oh
I
yeah,
think a lot of people are going to learn that lesson this time.
100%. But and I would say, no, now there's not really going to be any. I think we're not going to see a heavy recession. I really don't. I still don't see what's going to cause like bloodbaths anywhere else. The real estate
No,
market slowed, but I don't see like any real big recession. So I don't think anybody really has anything to be worried about. The tech industry, like Silicon Valley, like I feel like they're out of it.
mhm,
It's stagnant, right? But it'll
yeah,
eventually start rolling again. Real estate will be fine, but there's nothing else unless it's a very niche thing to where something changes regulatory wise that I see like a
yeah.
bloodbath coming.
No, it's not. It's going to be a very different recession. This recession is I often called it a rolling recession. The last one we had like this was 1990. How old were you in 1990?
I was born in 1995.
So you were not even a thought yet. So
Yeah.
yeah, so if you're out there and you want to know what a rolling recession, go back and look at 1990. That's the best example we have. It's not going to be the dot-com where everything went to shit. It's not the great financial crisis where everything went. It's not. And a lot of people were adults in 1990, right? I was 18 in 90. So there's just a lot of people that their only inclination of a recession is everything goes to shit. This one's different. Real estate went in a depression. It's went from 6.5 million to 4 million transactions. It's not going to 2 million, right? You're not going to cut this thing
Yeah.
again. It's already baseline. Now it could be at 4 million for years, but it won't go to two. That's just not how the system works. And it will likely come out because again, new
That's a good point.
builders are coming out. So I'm excited for what's coming because again, if you got prepared, if you're watching my channel, you got prepared. You probably prepared early. Um, but you have cash, you have dry powder, you're always doing the work. I think the next 6 months in real estate are going to be awesome because a lot of people are going to check out. They're going to say high prices, high rates, I'm out. And I'll probably do what I did last year, October, November, December. I bought 2 deals out of the MLS for 30% off. So I'll probably do that again and make 90 grand. So I mean, if you're gonna put 40 grand in front of me, I'll take it. But
When
I'm
now is the
excited for
best
what's
time for
coming.
owner financing in real estate.
Oh, no
Now is the
question.
best time for it.
Yeah,
To where if you
skill
don't
up,
know anything
learn.
about it, skill up about it. Jeff Rappaport has a great podcast called the Creative Financing Podcast, and obviously Pace
Hmm.
Learn how to structure deals, and it'll pay off immensely. California is not necessarily super, what's the word? They aren't very familiar with it, but if you can learn how to be a wordsmith and pitch these deals the right way,
Yeah.
this is when you're going to make really good money for absolutely nothing out of your pocket.
No, I totally agree. Again, I told people there are two things I needed to skill up in this cycle. One was bigger multifamily, which I've paid to go to events. The other is creative financing. I've done plenty of seller financing, but there are other options in Pace or Ryan Nickel out our neck of the woods does it as well. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
Ryan
there's
actually
just
does do it.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming. So Stratton, I look forward to topic one and number two, or number two and number three coming. But before, where can people follow you?
On Instagram at StratDaddy.
There you go. Thank you, buddy.